If you've ever had to have one of those car rides home with your kid where you're trying to have a conversation to help them after a tough game, because you can tell that they need some guidance because they're lacking confidence, but somehow those well-meaning intentions are just turning into frustration or, awkward silence, right? Well, you're not alone, because here's the problem. Most of those conversations are actually making their confidence problems worse, not better. So in this video, I want to give you 3 strategies for having better car ride home conversations that have actually helped my kids improve from game to game throughout the different seasons of their life. And look, I get it. I've been there. I have 5 kids myself, all of which have played. And over the years, I've developed some really good frameworks for conversations that have been really well received by my kids and actually help them so that they're getting ready to do better in the next game. I'm using these right now during this current season. I'm using them on my 10-year-old daughter who just short hopped the fence at 200 feet, which is an awesome achievement for her. I'm using it on my 18-year-old son who got off to a slightly slow start, kind of unlucky start in his first 10 at-bats, but who dialed things in after some conversations and has homered in his last 2 games. But before we get into how to actually have those actual conversations, let's dive into a few key principles you have to pay attention to if you want this to go well. Number 1, how do we know if this is actually a confidence issue in the first place? And I've talked about this in other videos, but the best way to judge this is to track what we call your kid's swing decision rate in game. And what you're looking for is if your kid's making less than 80% of good swing decisions, they probably do have a confidence problem. And if they're above 80% good swing decisions, they have a swing mechanics problem if things aren't going right. So that's how you can decide which direction you want to take this conversation. Just so we're clear on what a good swing decision means, it's if they swing at a strike, great, and if they take a ball, great. And for the purposes of this video, we're going to be assuming that we're dealing with a hitter who's below the 80% good swing decision clip, which brings us to principle number 1 if you got a kid like that. On that car ride home, you want to make sure that you only talk about strategies for mental adjustments, not mechanical ones, because mechanics break down if the mental game isn't right nearly 100% of the time. And trying to address mechanical issues when the problem is really mental is like piston in the wind. Might feel good to get it out of your system, but it's going to make a bigger mess than you want. And then third, what you want to make sure is that you use unbiased feedback to help your child understand what they need to work on that's undeniable, so that you don't get stuck having a conversation where you tell your kid that they're not doing something and they say, "Yes, I am, Dad." And that's what the rest of this video is about. So here's a 3-part checklist that you can run through to identify which part of your kid's mental game is off and exactly how to address it. Mental hurdle number 1. Do they have an attack mindset? Now, when it comes to having an attack mindset, you may have heard this concept called yes, yes, no. You want to have a yes, yes, no, or a yes, yes, yes approach, where the concept is easier to hit if we say, yes, I'm going to be swinging, and then decide to stop our swing later, versus, I don't know if I'm going to swing, I'm only going to wait till the last second. And I like this approach in theory, but in reality, kids interpret this as having to make 3 different decisions as they're swinging. I think there's a much better way to explain this. I want to play a video for you of a Chapman University coach who I think does the best job of explaining how to do this and have an aggressive approach of anybody I've ever heard explain this. So let's take a listen.
Your only decision as a hitter is not to swing. Okay? There's too much going on for you to try and figure out what's going on. You have to be swinging at every pitch, and your only decision is not to swing because of what you've identified as the pitch is coming. So you see 90-mile-an-hour fastball, approximately 0.4 of a second, right? Okay. I must determine pitch, speed, location. I have to finish my stride, get my foot down to be able to process the swing, and all of that short amount of time. Okay. So if I'm up there sitting here going, okay, is it a strike? Is it a ball? Nope, it's by me before I even have those. Okay. So I have to be prepared to swing the bat at every single pitch. So every pitch is hit. The only decision is not to swing. Okay. Now, the really good hitters, when you see them take a pitch, Right? This is how they take it. If it's in the zone, if something gets way out, of course you're going to identify that early and probably not going to be in this situation. But the really good hitters, when they're set up and they have to take a pitch on that borderline pitch that they're not going to swing at, it's like whoa, 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 whoa. It's like everything they had to do to stop their swing, because their full intent was to swing the bat at every single pitch.
I don't think anybody's ever said it better than that guy. And I can't tell you how many times I've taken that video and I've just shown it to a kid and they've gotten hot in their next games because all of a sudden they understand what it's like to have an aggressive mindset. Now, here's the important part that you guys need to know about sharing this video, because you need to know when it's right to share this video and when maybe you need to share another one, where what you want to do is you want to pull up a clip of your hitter from a recent game, and like we did with my daughter here, and you say, see, babe, how you don't look like it's taking everything in you to have to stop your swing like your brother looks like, where you show them the visual signs on video that you can tell that they're not having an aggressive pitch on with pitches that are close to the zone. And when you do that, you don't just say, no, you weren't being aggressive, but you actually have the video evidence. Like, this message lands way harder. And after having these types of conversations with kids over the last 8 years, there tends to be about 3 different reasons why they don't have this aggressive approach. Reason number 1, they just swung at a bad pitch, and the coach is over there yelling at them to lay off the high ones. And that kid's now thinking to themselves, oh, I don't want to get yelled at again, so I don't want to swing unless this is a strike, which is exactly the opposite of what that Chapman coach was saying to do. Then reason number 2, this is the reason my daughter was not having an aggressive approach recently, is that her coach had given her some advice on some things that he thought she was doing wrong in the cage, and she was really focusing on her mechanics during the at-bat instead of an aggressive approach. And so when a hitter does that, it's like loading too many computer programs on a computer that runs out of memory. They get laggy, it gets glitchy, and I hate to break it to you, but most kids, mine included, don't got enough operating memory in their brain up here to hit well when you're putting too many thoughts in there. And all those mechanical thoughts that were going on in her head, that was making it take up too much brain power, and she got away from being aggressive because she was making laggy decisions. So asking her what she's thinking about the plate, understanding she had a mechanical approach, and then showing her that video really has allowed her to make some good changes, like here she has with this absolutely pissed on line drive home run. And I just need to add one caveat to this, and this comes down to your parenting style, but if you give your kids this advice and they still don't have aggressive takes, I operate under the philosophy of behaviors you allow are behaviors you're encouraging. And for me in my house, I cannot allow one of my children to not have an aggressive approach at the plate after we've worked on this for a couple of games. And I believe that if I allow that kind of behavior, I'm actually encouraging it. But I find that a lot of parents don't think about it that way, and they don't set consequences, and so this becomes hard to fix when you allow it in your household. So in my household, we have some nasty chores, like picking up dog poop, for example, or cleaning toilets, and we have a conversation about having an aggressive approach, and if you go a whole game and we have video evidence that confirms you are not aggressively hunting strikes and aggressively taking balls on pitches near the zone, and we've talked about this for a game or two, your little name goes to the top of that who's going to pick up dog poop next chart. There's no yelling, there's no lecture, you just show them the video evidence and you hand them a shovel. And I can't tell you how well this works when you actually mean what you say as a parent, you've shown video evidence, you've talked about how to make the adjustment, and then you just hold them accountable. However, this only does work for the first 2 reasons a kid doesn't have an aggressive approach, and this other 3rd reason requires a different approach. And that is if your kid isn't being aggressive because they don't handle the fear of getting hit by a ball well. In other words, sometimes the issue isn't that they don't understand the approach, and it isn't that they're too focused on mechanics. It's that when something starts to feel uncomfortable in the box, like a little bit of fear welling up, that inside pitch, almost getting hit by that, almost hitting them, getting jammed, and it hurts their hands, that kind of thing, their brain is just telling them to avoid it. And if that's your kid, you can't fix that with this video that I've shown you. You have to help them build a better relationship with being uncomfortable and being okay with a little bit of pain. And that's what this next video is all about, because in that video, I'm going to show you a simple strategy that I used in raising my kids with things we could do at home that help them build up a better ability to handle discomfort. So if your kid has watched these clips and you're thinking, yeah, I don't think this is a mechanics issue, and I don't think this is just an approach issue, I think maybe my kid just doesn't handle uncomfortable situations well, check out this video right here, because I'm going to show you one of those psychological ways we work on that with our own kids at home that's really been key for a lot of kids.